Hello friends, welcome to this Yin Yoga practice for happy hips. We will have a practice that is going to be more focused on the hip area. The hip has a lot of rotation in most part of the bones in the body, but in between that, we are also going to have some poses for the back so we can give some rest to the hip. For today, we are going to need one or two blocks if you have it, or you can also have some pillows or a couple of books to help you to support the arms while we are on the poses. If you also prefer, you can spread a blanket on the floor. I like to do it because the tile is very cold, and this practice is also a cool practice. So we are not going to get a lot of warm up. And also have additional blanket. You also use a towel. So we are going to need the extra blanket to support the knees. In addition, please have also a cushion if you prefer to be sitting down, which is more comfortable. So we are going to start with uh, mm, focusing in our breathing. So we can start our Yin Yoga practice having being all focusing in our breathing as we move into the poses. It's very important that we bring this consciousness onto our breathing. Our breathing is the one that is going to help us to move more mindfully into the asanas. So please take a seat with your legs crossed or any comfortable position that you feel. Bring your palms over your thighs and then bring them up. Extend your spine and relax your shoulders. Close your eyes and start focusing on your normal breathing first. Inhale through your nose. Hold your breath and exhale out through your nose. Making the exhalation longer than the inhalation. Inhale again. Hold your breath and exhale long but slowly. Two more times. Inhale through your nose. Hold your breath and exhale through your nose slowly but long. One more time in this normal breathing. Inhale. Hold it. And exhale. So breathing techniques or pranayama is one part of the 8 limbs of yoga. And asana, the practice that we are going to do, is also another part of the 8 limbs of yoga. So it is important to be incorporating pranayama practice into our sessions. So the next technique we are going to do is called the Ujjayi breath. This breathing is very important because it helps to increase the inner fire. Also, it helps us to bring more oxygen into our body and help us to be more conscious and awake. So for this breathing, we are going to inhale through the nostrils. We are going to keep the lips together, and we are going to retain the breath when we open the throat. And you are going to feel that your breath is coming like in the middle part of your chest. And then we are going to exhale slowly again through your nose. And you are going to start feeling like a sound in and on your throat. So let's practice 3 times. Close your eyes. Inhale through your nose, deep and slow. Hold your breath and open your throat. And then exhale, making the sound, a vibration sound in the back of your throat. 2 more times. Inhale through your nose. Hold your breath and open your throat. And exhale out through your nose. Last time. Inhale through your nose. Hold your breath and open your throat. And exhale out through your nose. You can practice this Ujjayi breath at any time during the day, when you wake up or when you go to bed, and that really helps you to clear more your mind and to be more relaxed. So let's move into our first pose for this class. We are going to be holding some poses 3 minutes and some other poses for 5 minutes, depending on the intensity of the pose. So the first pose is going to be the dragon pose. So we are going to extend one of the blankets. You can have the blanket in this shape and put it in the left side of the mat. That's to cushion the left knee. Then get your blocks or the big books or extra pillows, and we are going to stand to the front the right leg. We are going to make sure first that the right knee is over the right heel. And because this pose creates a lot of intensity in the standing thigh, which is going to be in this case the left thigh, we will be holding this one for only 3 minutes instead of 5 minutes. I'm going to set up my time watcher here for 3 minutes. So we're going to stay here. Don't extend the thigh too much in the beginning, because as the time goes, your thigh is going to be more flexible and you are going to be extending it more. So just stay in the less extended position first and just let your body to be open. Extend your spine and rest your hands on both blocks. And as one of the yin yoga, like a rules or guidelines, is that come into the pose that where we can find our edge. It means to a point where we are flexible enough, but without feeling any uncountable pain. The second guideline is to, once we find our edge, is to remain to be still. For example, if I'm in this pose right now, I don't want to start moving my front leg from side to side or my back leg from side to side in a brute movement. I want to do it only when I feel I want to go deeper into the pose, or if I feel any pain that doesn't really goes well. So I prefer to avoid the pose. So I'm gonna stay here and I will let you know when it's time to release the pose. You can close your eyes and just follow you can choose between your normal breathing, the one that we practice the first time, or you can try practicing the Ujjayi breath. As you see, I'm gonna start moving my blocks to the front because I'm feeling that my left thigh is becoming more flexible. So I'm gonna extend it a little bit more while my hip is also dropping more to the air. Now it's time to release the pose. So very slowly, what we want to do here is we're gonna start bringing the front leg first more up, and automatically the left thigh is gonna start coming more into a neutral position. Bring your blocks more closer to you. I'm gonna extend the right leg and lifting the right foot. We're gonna extend the back. When we inhale, I'm slowly gonna start bringing the chest toward our right thigh. We will stay here for only few breathings, just to give some release to the legs. Now slowly we are going to lift the chest. Inhale. And exhale, we are going to bring the right leg into the floor. Now we're going to move the blanket to the other side so it can serve as a cushion to the right knee. So this time we're going to send the left leg to the front with the left knee over the left heel and the right knee on the floor. I'm going to set out the time again for the 3 minutes. Raise your hands on the block and extend the right thigh, just finding your edge according to a flexibility that is appropriate for you when you don't feel uncomfortable pain, but where you feel a good stretching enough that you can support for the time of the 3 minutes. Close your eyes and follow your breathing. And when you feel that your body is becoming more flexible, your hip is becoming more open, then just go ahead and extend more your right thigh so you can bring the hip more down. Just 15 more seconds. Now we're gonna go and release the pose very slowly. We're gonna start extending our left leg. So our right thigh is coming into more neutral position. Move the blocks close to you and extend totally the left leg, pointing the left foot. Inhale and exhale very slowly. Bring your chest toward your left thigh. You don't need to touch the left knee. Just only extend the spine, keeping the spine extended, and with the intention to give some relief to the right thigh and a little stretching to the left leg. I'm gonna release this pose. Bring the left knee on the mat. You can put the blocks in the front. We are gonna come into the next pose that is called the frog pose. So for this pose, extend even more your blanket or the towel about this size, and then put it in the middle of the mat. Then we are going to separate the knees a little wider than the hips. And then we are going to bring the blocks close to us. So you can, depending on how flexible the hip is, you can choose to rest on your hands or bring the elbows on the blocks. And we will be holding this pose for also 3 minutes. And you can rest here in this way, bowing your head, following your breathing. And if you feel that you are gaining more flexibility, then you can start letting this knee to be sliding on the blanket and probably removing one block and bringing your elbows all the way down on the floor. You don't need to do that either if you prefer just to stay focused on the opening and focusing on your breathing. Just one more minute. Okay, slowly we are going to release the pose. So bring your hands on the floor first and start bringing your knees together very slowly. We can put the blocks on the side for a moment. And we are going to do some ankle stretch. Ankle stretch is not done for 3 or 5 minutes. It's only done for a few breaths because the ankles are very sensitive. So we'll do this one for only like a 10 breaths. For ankle stretch, just go ahead and sit on your heels. Bring your palms to the back and start lifting the knees away from the floor. And we are going to stay here for only 10 breaths. So I'm going to be counting the breaths and I will let you know when we can release the pose. So inhale 1, exhale, inhale 2, exhale, inhale 3, exhale, inhale 4, exhale. You can release the knees when you need to. Inhale 5, exhale. Inhale 6, exhale. Inhale 7, exhale. Inhale 8, exhale. Inhale 9, exhale. And inhale 10, exhale. Bring the knees down into the mat. And we are going to come into our child pose. This one we will be holding for 5 minutes. But some people, the child pose, when it is the first time into the yoga practice, child pose can create a little bit of challenge. So I'm going to show you how can we modify the pose. If you have a blanket, then you can pull the blanket as much as you can, or use the pillow. We are going to place the blanket behind on our legs so we can sit on it. You can also open the knees a little bit, separate the knees. If it is still painful, on because the thighs are is still very unflexible, or you feel any pain on your ankle, then add an extra blanket or a pillow. So then the hip is going to be more up, not totally on the mat. And we can start bringing our chest and our mat, and our hands on the mat, and then you can relax here on the child pose. So if you have more practice on child pose, then you don't need blankets. You can just come into the edge of your child pose. Sometimes you don't even touch the heels with your hips, but you don't feel the pain on the thighs and on the top of the foot either. If that's the case, the gravity is going to start pulling your hips toward your hips. You just make sure again that you don't feel any pain. Also, make sure that you are breathing. Since we are having the face on the mat, and we can start feeling a little difficult in our breathing. So what you can do is you can bend the elbows and rest your hands on your arms so you can lift more the head and breathe more comfortable. So just stay here and I will let you know when it's time to release Balasana or child pose. This is very good for the spine. It helps to relieve lower back pains. Also, it helps to open the hips, the thighs, the ankles. This is a pose that you can practice at any time during the day. If you feel a lot of stress, then you can come into your child pose for at least 5 minutes and you will feel how your mind becomes more relaxed.
This is why it makes yin yoga so important over other yoga styles, because yin yoga looks like a very simple, but in reality it's also as practice that give us a strength, because we need to hold the poses longer, and also on all this stretching, when we are holding it for a long time, we are giving it the opportunity for the connective tissue to be also stretching. The connective tissue is the one that surrounds our bones, our muscles, our organs. Is also the responsible for the production of the hyaluronic acid that keeps our joints moving, and also works very well in producing our white blood cells, which help us to increase our immune system. So yin yoga has many benefits over other yang practices, including other styles of yoga that is healing, but they work more on the muscles. And if you notice, most of our daily activities are yang, like walking, running, driving, because we are using our muscles. So yin yoga is one of the few practices that work directly on the connective tissue. Bueno, we're gonna release the pulse. So slowly we are gonna start lifting our head, releasing our hands, following your breathing. Can lift, bringing the hands close to you so we can start lifting the chest and start removing our cushion on our blanket. We're gonna come onto our belly and support in our elbows so we can come into the sphinx pose. That is gonna work more on our spine before we go into the next hip pose. So stay here and close your eyes. So start extending your chest and feeling the nice release on your spine, giving some rest to the hip, completely relaxing the hips and the thighs on the mat. Because we are having this practice at this time of the day, our muscles have been more warm already. So when we come into our poses, just keep this in mind and make sure that it is not a muscle work I'll be doing, like trying to move more the back up. So just relax the back and drop all the weight of your body onto the mat. The other thing to keep in mind is don't draw the neck onto the shoulder. Just lift the neck a little bit and move the shoulders away from the ear. The top of the feet also relax on the floor or on the mat.
And we stay here for 2 more minutes. You will start feeling some energy moving on the base of your spine. This pose is actually working also on all of your energetic centers, aligning them. And I'm talking is about the chakras, which is the energy centers that are rooted in our spine. So when we keep our spine healthy, our chakras are also uh, moving in a healthy way. We are balancing them. Just 20 more seconds. Now we are going to release this pose, but we are going to totally come all the way down on the mat. You need to extend one arm, and we are gonna rotate onto our back. Next, we are going to extend the legs, and we are gonna do a short savasana here, like with the legs extending, the palms up. And the idea of this intermediate savasana is that during the yin yoga, our body is like a being squeezed, and the energy needs a way to escape. So that's why we come into this savasana, to leave all this energy to release from the body. We'll stay here for only a few breaths. Now we're going to slowly come up. So but bend your knees first. Extend one arm up. I'm going to rotate on my right side because I have the microphone on the left side. So start rotating on your either left or right side, and then push up very slowly. And come again into sitting down position. So have your blocks again close to you. And we are going to come into the shoelace pose. So for the shoelace, I'm going to show you two options. The first one is extending both legs and bring one on top of the other one with the foot crossing on the other side of the knee, and then bend the lifting knee over the extending leg. And we can stay here, and we can have our block on this side, and we can start one or two blocks. I'm gonna start resting on the block, and start lifting the other arm up until you can start feeling the stretching on the left side or your back. You can move the blocks
away from the body as much as you need to so you can start feeling the stretching, having both hips on the mat. Or you can have only one block if you want to have a more intense stretch. So having one leg extending is one option. And the second option is that if the hips are flexible enough, so just bend extending leg and have one knee over the other one. Have the block on the side, raise your hand on it, lift your arm. And this pose will be holding for 3 minutes because again it's an intense pose. So with more practice, we can move it into the 5 minutes. But lift your arm and then hold your head with the other hand. And then you will start feeling a good stretching on your hip and on the left side or your back. Keep your eyes closed. And as you feel that the left side of your back is becoming more open and more flexible, then you can either move the block or down so you can rest the elbow or on the block just over to the mat, extending the spine. Okay, 20 more seconds here. Now, we're gonna start lifting our head, our arms, our head and our upper body, moving the shoulders, bringing both feet on the mat, and start doing some um, movement with our knees from side to side. And then we go to the shoelace on the opposite side. So just remember to either have that one with one leg extending. So we are going to bring this time the opposite leg on top and moving the feet around the knee, bending both legs if you want to, or having one leg extending and resting the other knee on top. So making sure that both hips are on the mat and moving the block to the other side. You can have 1 or 2 blocks depending on how flexible are in use this part of the back.
resting your elbow on the block. And then you can also, another option, another choice is that you can have your hand in the back, so that opens your shoulder. Or you can bring the arm up and hold your head. And then close your eyes. Just make sure that your back is not coming to the front. And start lifting it until, also on the same way that you are going to be opening your chest. And close your eyes. And just have the intention to remain still. If you feel, or move only if you feel any pain that is not comfortable for you. Or move on also if you feel that you want to go deeper into the pose. One more minute, one more second, I mean. We can release the pose now. Slowly start lifting your head and your upper body. Relax your shoulders. You can bring the blocks to the side. We won't need them anymore. And bring your feet on the mat. Start moving your legs from side to side. And then we go into the next pose. So we are going to call, let me see the time. We have 15 more minutes of practice. So for this pose, also suggest you to have a blanket and place the blanket again folded and then put it in either side, right or left. So let's do it in the right side. So we can start with the left side. So we can come into a little downward dog. And we are going to bring the left leg up and bring the left foot to the front of the mat. Bringing the right knee all the way down into the mat. So the left knee, you're going to start dropping the left knee very slowly onto the mat. If you feel that it's coming onto the mat in a position that is comfortable for us, then we can either stay here. If you need extra support, then you can use your cushion and have your hip resting on it. So just making sure that the leg extending in the back is not moving into that left side. Just try to have it extending and in a straight line to the mat. We're gonna be holding this pose for another 3 minutes. So if you don't need any support, if you don't need the blanket on the knee or the cushion on the hip, then you can remove it and let the gravity bring your hips down into the mat.
If you prefer, also you can bring your elbows down and then drop your head, close your eyes, and just start feeling, noticing how your body becomes more flexible and mobile into this pose. Remember to relax your muscles. Relax the muscles on your legs. Don't push the body to come all the way down to the mat. So just let it, and while the hip become more open, then is naturally gonna be coming more down into the mat, and also your chest. So you can start bringing it more into the floor. Probably resting your head on your arms. And then we have here 1.5 minutes. Now we're gonna release the pose, lifting your head, your arms, moving your supports, and then we're gonna come back again into our downward dog, extending your legs. Now we're gonna come again into the opposite side, bringing your right leg up, then moving your right foot to the front of the mat, and bringing the right foot crossing on the left side of the mat, and slowly bringing the right knee onto the mat, extending the right leg, bringing the right leg onto the mat. So if you need the blanket, again, you can support your hip on the cushion and your leg, extending leg on the blanket. Or if you feel comfortable, then you don't use blanket at all. You can stay here. This is another pose that creates a lot of intensity in the hips. So this why supports in the beginning are appropriate. But if you have more practice in this here opener pose, then you can use without support. You can choose to stay here with your back lifted, or if you want, you can also bring your elbows to the front and then raise your head. And with the time, your body is becoming more open, and then you can lower more your head down onto the mat, and your hip is going to become more flexible. Then you can accommodate the posture. for in 48 more seconds. Now we're going to release the pose. From where we are, we're just going to move the bending leg to the back and come into our belly and our chest. Then we're going to rest the head on the elbows, and it's just to start moving the legs again from side to side, the same way we were doing from sitting down, but this time on prone position. So just move them from one side to the other one. Then next, we're going to start lifting one at a time. The knees bending and just lifting the legs and the hips. And probably extending one leg, extending the other one. Good. Now we're going to extend one arm to the front and we're going to come back into our back. This time, we're going to come into happy baby. So for happy baby, we'll do it for another 3 minutes. So bring your knees to your chest, open them a little bit, and then start lifting the legs. So you can hold under the knees, then stay here. Or if you prefer, then you can grab the big toes with your index finger and your ring finger with your thumb, then stay here. And then naturally just let the hips to be open and the knees to be dropping with the time. This is a pose that really takes a long time for us to work on it, but don't get disappointed. Just come into this wonderful happy baby pose. Thank you so much. Relax into our spine. Also relax the shoulder. Close your eyes. Now we're going to release our pose, totally extend our legs into the mat. And we are going to bring one leg on top of the other one and move it to bring the left leg on top of the right leg. And then start moving the body into giving like a half moon shape, and also bring both arms up and moving the both arms now into the right sides. So this is called Bananasana because it's giving like a banana shape into the body. So we stay here for another 3 minutes. So that's gonna give a more release into our spine. Now our hips are totally resting, but our shoulders are working a little bit. So just relax, close your eyes, follow your breathing. Mm, 30 more seconds. Very good. Now release your arms, your legs, and let's go to the other side with the right leg on top of the left and holding your right wrist with your left hand, and then moving your body to the left side, just giving like a banana shape onto your body. So you're gonna start feeling a stretching on the left side of your back, and also a little stretching on your right scapula. If you feel that you cannot really relax the arm that is bending, then you can rest it over the pillow like I'm showing here, or a blanket.
Just 20 more seconds. Now we're gonna release the pulse, extending your arms above your head, extending your legs, taking one breath, inhale. And when you exhale, bring your hands close to your body with the palms resting on your side, palms up for the Savasana. Just totally relax. Relax your shoulders, your spine, relax your hips and your legs. I will let you know when it's time to come back into sitting position. Just stay there. What I'm going to read to you something that I found in this book, The Power of Law by James Van Praagh. For every action, there is a reaction. That is the nature of the law of cause and effect. A thought is made up of energy, color, denseness, and designs. And it is propelled by your intention. We are the result of our thoughts. If your thoughts are continually filled with guilt and fear, the results will show up in your life as negative behaviors and situations. Ask yourself about the recent events in your life. What was good? What was negative? What did you say? What did the other person say? Assess your answers. Be honest. And then ask yourself, what energy am I holding on the right now in my belief system, behavior patterns, feelings, and relationships that is not serving my highest good? Spend a few moments and see what comes to mind. All cause begins in your mind. If you can release something from the past, such as any sadness or guilt trip, even for a few moments, you are healing yourself. If you desire a life filled with love, you must raise your thoughts to be more loving. By accelerating the energy of love, you will attract more joy, happiness, and abundance into your future. I'm going to read this affirmation 2 times. You can repeat it in your mind. I am fully aware that the amount of love I create in my thoughts is a powerful foundation for the results I want. Second time. I am fully aware that the amount of love that I create in my thoughts is a powerful foundation for the results I want. Now bend your knees, bring your hips, your feet close to you, extend your right arm over your head and slowly move to your right side. Come all the way up into sitting position. Bring your palms close to your heart and open your heart to receive more love, to release anything that doesn't this that is not helping you right now, and send love to those person, to those people that is in your life, and send love also to yourself. Bring your palms between your eyebrows. Inhale. And exhale for Namaste. Thank you so much for being with me in this Yin Yoga practice for happy hips. I hope that you are feeling more relaxed during this practice. If you like it, please give us a thumb up. Share this practice and this video with your neighbors and with those people that you feel are gonna be feeling the benefits of the Yin Yoga. Thanks again and see you next Monday for another Yin Yoga practice. Have a wonderful day. Namaste.